And at least the only thing that is shining on us this morning, Nqobile, is the sun, because I'm afraid nothing else seems to be working this morning. And I think that's just how we're feeling as South Africans. Stage 5, it's not going to stage 4 yet. So how unhappy are the people where you are at the moment?
Well, Gareth, indeed, that's the sun. That's the only thing that we are counting on at the moment. In fact, I was watching also on the app just to check where is it that the power's already gone out. You would imagine just that commotion on Conrad as well, that as the lights go out, you can just imagine that frustration going to work. So quite a number of people experiencing that load shedding, but in all different terms as they head to work. But one place that has had so many power issues and continues to have so, and we've seen the struggles and the marches, is Soweto. So I want to bring in Trevor Ngwane now to speak to us about the power. I mean, already Soweto has issues with regards to power. We've seen quite a number of people saying they haven't had power for as long as 2 months, 6 months, and so on. Now there's load shedding to top it all. How are the Sowetans doing?
The people are suffering, Nqobile. I mean, the area just across the road did not have electricity for 14 months. And then they had the electricity restored. Now they were happy thinking, our problems are solved. Now it's load shedding. Now they're being told, don't cry too much, the whole country is suffering. But people don't suffer the same. Some are richer, some are poorer. So some people have got options when there are no lights, others don't. Most people in Soweto don't have an alternative. They don't have options. They are stuck. They live in the dark when there's no electricity.
I mean, I can just imagine the frustration. Is there anything that perhaps brings comforts in this case? Is there any way that Soweto has reduced any amount of money that they're owing Eskom at the moment?
No, not at all. You know, it's not as if people don't want to pay. Firstly, people often don't have the money to pay. But even those with money to pay, they want to pay for a service which they can enjoy. So people don't want to save money on electricity by living in the dark. You know, you can't say I'm saving on food by not buying food. So there's just no solution now. It's getting dark. People are despairing. I think soon South Africa will see something like that July attacks on malls as people go berserk, totally, utterly frustrated.
And I mean, there is that dream that renewable energy might be the way to go. What do you think on that?
Renewable energy is the way to go, but the way to go is not to rely on the private sector, these so-called independent power producers. What we need is a green Eskom. So Eskom must be repurposed to actually provide renewables. We need a corruption-free, efficient, service-centered green Eskom. So I think the real problem now, Nqobile, is that we are looking, you know, at two. On the one hand is the IPPs, on the other is Eskom. But the IPPs for the next 10 years, 20 years, will never provide enough electricity, you know, for South Africa. So the first port of call is to improve Eskom, remove the corruption, remove the rater, you know, have a guy who is an electrical engineer and is a good manager. An engineer trained also in renewable energy. Remove Gwedemantashe because, you know, he's tied into coal. I think someone is paying him, you know, to promote coal. Remove Ramaphosa because he is a billionaire. He only thinks of capitalist solutions. I think indeed remove the ANC because they failed completely to focus on the needs of the people.
So are you then attributing load shedding to ANC?
Oh, yes, because the first problem we had was under Thabo Mbeki. Thabo Mbeki was told by Eskom managers at that time that we need to increase capacity. He dilly-dallied because he was thinking of privatizing Eskom. Do you know why they want to privatize? To create a black bourgeoisie for self-enrichment. They thought that Eskom could be the conduit for tenderpreneurship. Okay? But then at the last minute, there were no takers for Eskom. There was a lot of cry from the trade union movement, and then Thabo Mbeki lost his courage and did not privatize. But unfortunately, the damage had been done, and now the focus was on finding ways to commercialize Eskom, finding ways to push Eskom, out of the game and introduce the private sector.
Briefly, please, what's the solution?
We need a green, efficient, corruption-free Eskom.
Thank you very much. Well, you can hear the frustration, of course, Gareth, there as Trevor Ngwane speaks to us. He's saying that we need a greener Eskom, and perhaps that is the solution.
Is that a solution? It might very well be a solution. The question is, when could that solution come in? I suppose that's the question for everybody at the moment. Nqobile Madlala, thank you very much indeed. I'm sure we're going to hear from more South Africans and also those in Soweto as well as to the kind of power issues that they're dealing with, because that has been a problem, a big, big problem for many, many years in Soweto. As the guest said, everyone is suffering, but some people are suffering differently to others. Well,